Hey guys, and welcome back to Clannad. So, let's just jump right back in. It seemed that she predicted what I was going to do. Go and say it yourself. I'm not a messenger boy.
バカね。
You idiot.
王子様が一人で助けに行かないと意味ないでしょ。
It would be meaningless if the prince didn't go alone to help her, right?
失礼します。
Excuse me. She entered the staff room before I could even say anything back. I rushed out of the school building the moment afternoon lessons ended. I run to the slope in front of the school gates as if I'm going to tumble, and like that I hurried up ahead. I stood still at the corner where Kotomi and I always part ways. I took out the note out of my pocket as I catch my breath. Written on it was an address I don't know of. During this afternoon lesson, I wasn't looking at the textbook or the blackboard, just this piece of paper. I didn't think I'd be walking further than the place where Kotomi and I part ways. I have the courage to find it, and I also have to find it. With the piece of paper in my palm, I started walking. I follow some alleyways, relying on street names written on small boards that are hanging on poles. It seems that this is an exclusive residential area, having huge mansions lining up on both sides of the road. I checked each and every nameplate, but I didn't see my target's address. Isn't it around this area? I turned corners many times, and those travels made me dejected. When I noticed, the sun was setting down. My long thin shadow slowly stretches down the road, and the wind has become quite cold. The scent of an evening meal coming from the house ventilation floated around, a warm, nostalgic sensation, a tantalizing sensation that I can't seem to remember even though I know of it. I'm pretty sure that it should be around here. I made a bitter smile as I realized I was dead serious trying to remember something. It's a street I don't have anything to do with. It'd be useless even if I dug up my memory. I guess I might have been rash. If I had only checked it on the map, I would have found it immediately. I guess I'll do this again tomorrow. I gave up and turned an unknown corner. There's a house that I haven't recognized. It's surrounded by a fence painted in white, a big house with 2 stories. I timidly looked at the nameplate. Ichinose. I suddenly rush over there. There's a doorbell beside the big wooden door. I somehow hesitated as I was about to press it. I had a feeling that there was something wrong. I hadn't entered through the entranceway even once. I look around. There's a narrow path between the fence and the side of the house, and in the storage room's shade, there was a bucket, a shovel, and a rusty lawnmower left behind. This path probably leads to a garden. I advanced towards that direction. Twilight was already approaching. A choking smell of grass hits me, and the feeling of stepping on soft ground at my feet. It was a desolate garden. Inside the lawn that stretches far are overgrown weeds. A tilted table and a fallen garden chair. I am actually, whoopsie, did not mean to do that. I am actually going to get a screenshot of this, because it's really pretty. Its coating has come off, and it was rusting with dark red. The wind that carried out the dusk was blowing through it like a forgotten ruin. I was standing still in silence. It couldn't get any worse. The lawn was always maintained beautifully. The chair and the table were also painted in pure white. Flowers bloomed inside the piled up brick, forming a flower bed. It was a dreamland that was always inviting me. There's a gap in the fence, and that was the entrance. Huh? What's this? This unsettling feeling. Is it deja vu? I know this place, but even still I don't understand why I know. Silently, I pushed aside the weeds and advanced one step at a time. The lawn that had become thick was coiling at my feet as if it was trying to stop me. My destination was the living room facing the garden. There's a tall wooden glass door, or door frame, separating the outside from the inside. The curtain is closed, so I don't know what it looks like inside. And as if for some sort of a sign, there was a little opening at the outermost corner of the door. Perhaps it was always like that. I put my hand on the sliding door and applied some force onto it. As I did that, a creaking sound came out, and then, little by little, I moved it aside. I kicked off my shoes and entered the living room. It was dark inside. There's this dusty atmosphere on the floor, which seemed like it's made out of wood. Just like the fading color of the setting sun, it had a strange scent. As I focused my eyes, little by little, I came to see what was inside. There was a round table at the center, a sofa around it, a side table at the wall, and bookends placed all over it. The feel of the materials was lost, as if all the crags were removed. I'm sure that these things haven't been touched for many, many years. I walked carefully, advancing from the living room and the interior. There's a staircase in the middle part of the hallway. Step by step, I slowly climb up. The strange feeling continued, the feeling of being led by a memory that doesn't belong to me. Hiding my footsteps, my destination should be a door located at the second floor. As to why I have that idea, even I still don't understand. And then, I stood in front of the last door. As I held and twisted the doorknob, I found out it wasn't locked. Also, the same as a while ago. I slowly opened it. The scent of old books escapes along with an orange-yellow light. Everything inside surfaced as I let go of the door. It looks like a study room. There were books lining up on every side of the wall. At the center is a fine desk for reading, and also, on the floor, sitting is Kotomi. Getting a screenshot. There we go. Oh no, this is the part where I'm probably gonna cry. Scattered around her are old newspapers, magazines, and books, all of which are just cut pieces of their pages. There was a big fading newspaper caption, and though I didn't want to look, I ended up seeing it. Fishing boat witnesses fall off Alaska coast. All 266 passengers lost. Famed physicists Ichinoses amongst passengers. Scientific community shocked. Close to publishing their theory of everything. The cut pieces of the books are scattered around like fallen soldiers protecting Kotomi. I picked up one of them. The writings are printed in small horizontal. Concerning the multi-conditional Calabi-Yau manifold that holds the ADE type isolation singular point, which is similar to the uh pos Posthma? I don't know. Manuscripts that the late Mr. and Mrs. Ichinose arranged this recent years. It slipped off from my fingers. The late Mr. and Mrs. Ichinose. My memories mingled. With a pure white apron and the scent of smoke from a pipe. It was a dreamland. Oh no, I'm gonna cry. A garden of beautiful lawn. That's right. Kotomi was a small girl at that time. But now, she's here, sitting on the floor, crying and doing nothing else, in front of the wavering orange flame. Kotomi. My hollow voice echoed. All I could remember are vague images. But still, I came to understand. That I knew about this room, about this house, and about Kotomi. Kotomi and I met long ago when we were little. But even still, I'm the only one who had forgotten about it. So, you knew that it was me from the start? Kotomi just kept silent. Why didn't you tell me about it? Those words weren't really aimed at Kotomi. It's just that I feel myself not being useless. Kotomi didn't bother to look at me, who was standing there speechless. And then she slowly opened her mouth.
図書室に智也くんが来た時、私本当に嬉しかったの。
When Tomoya-kun came to the library, I was really happy.
あの時の男の子が戻ってきてくれたんだって。
Thinking that the boy from that day has returned.
私のこと
Thinking that
忘れずにいてくれたんだって。
you didn't forget about me.
でも
But
二人でいるうちに智也くん私のこと忘れてるみたいって気づいて。
when we were together, I realized you seemed to have forgotten about me.
それなのに私と友達になってくれて。
But even still, you befriended me.
初めて会った女の子として
As a girl you just
私の
met,
こと
you took care of me.
大切にしてくれて。
She added one after another.
わからなくなっちゃったの。
I ended up not knowing what to do.
思い出してほしいのか忘れていてほしいのか。
Whether I wanted you to remember or to forget
あの時の
about me on that day. No.
真理を探求する者は傲慢であってはならない。
A person who searches for the truth shouldn't be arrogant.
科学の言葉で語り得ないからといって奇跡を嘲笑してはならない。
You shouldn't mock miracles just because science has nothing interesting to say about them.
この世界の美しさから目を背けてはならない。
The world is beautiful, so you shouldn't turn your eyes away. Those are my dad's words. They are written in various languages and are being published in books by a very famous comment. But I remember my dad's true words. He told me with his really, really deep and kind voice. I was still very small back then. Oh, so many screenshots. It was evening. The wind had become cooler, and my dad and my mom were in the garden chatting. I really liked touching the lawn with my bare feet. The warm light, the scent of the soil and grass, I really liked them. The glittering chair and table, I also really liked them.
どうして私はことみっていうの？
Why am I called Kotomi? My dad, holding the pipe in his mouth, thinks about it with a serious face. I really liked it when my dad does that. Because no matter how little the thing is, my dad would answer it.
見てごらん、
Watch,
こと
Kotomi.
み。
My dad was pointing at the sky. I narrow my eyes and also look at the sky. At the vast, big, and very high sky, with beautiful orange-colored clouds, and with a very gentle breeze.
この世界を形作っているのは目には見えないほど小さなたくさんのハープだ。
This world is made out of lots of harps, so small that even eyes can't see them.
たくさんの
Lots of harps?
ハ
そう、
Oops.
この国の言葉ではこととも言うね。
Yes, and in our language it's called koto.
世界はハープで満ちていて、その一つ一つがそれぞれ異なった音を奏でているんだ。
The world is filled with harps, and each and every one of them plays a different tune.
そうしてあらゆる音が複雑に響き合い、たった一つの調べが生まれる。
Doing so, every sound echoes with each other, but only one will be born.
だから世界はこんなに美しいんだよ。
That's why this world is beautiful.
誰がそのハープを鳴らしているの？
Who's taming those harps?
それはとても難しい質問だね。
Now, that's one tough question. And then, my dad thinks again. He holds out his pipe and blows out some smoke. The branch of the garden tree wavers, making spots on the lawn. My dad's head, my mom's fingers, and my feet, they were covered with spots.
きっと神様だろう
I'm
ね。
pretty sure it's God. That's what Dad said.
神様はどこにいるの？
Where is God?
神様はどこにでもいるんだ。目には見えないけれどね。
God is everywhere, though you can't see him.
そうしていつも私たちを優しく見守っているんだ
And
よ。
also, he's kindly watching after us.
えっと、
I think hard about what my dad said. Lots of harps that you couldn't see. A kind God that you couldn't see.
とっても難しいの。
It's really, really hard to understand.
今はまだそれでいいんだよ。
That's all right for now,
ことみには覚えなければならないことが。
since there are many other
たくさんあるからね。
things you should remember. He patted my head with his big, rugged hand. And in the chair next to my dad was my mom smiling.
何でも大げさに話したがるのはお父さんの悪い癖。
Your daddy has a habit of telling stories exaggeratedly.
本当に大切なことはいつでもとっても簡単なことなの。
The most important thing is always very simple.
ね、お父さん。
Right, Daddy? As my mom winked at him, Dad smiled back with a bit of embarrassment. And from there, my mom embraced me and put me on her lap. I could smell the soap from her pure white apron.
ことみちゃんはことみちゃん。
Kotomi-chan is Kotomi-chan.
とっても綺麗な3つのひらがな。
A very beautiful three-syllable name.
お父さんとお母さんの大事な宝物。
It's your dad and your mom's very, very important treasure. I really liked my mom's voice that seems like a song resounding. My mom's cheek was ticklish, soft, warm. I was very happy. In my home, in the garden lawn, with my dad and mom, that is all my world consists of. That didn't change even when I entered elementary school. When I read the book on the teacher's desk, the boys in my class made fun of me.
それは大人の本だから子供は読んじゃいけないんだぞ。
That book is for grown-up people. Kids shouldn't be reading that.
みんなと同じ本を読みましょうね。
Even the teacher rushed over and told me, "Let's read the same book as everyone, all right?" I ended up crying. I didn't know that there are books that I shouldn't read up until then. But I read every book in the class on my first day. So I told them, my stomach is aching, and took the day off. I didn't try to make Dad and Mom go unreasonably. My stomachache disappeared, but in exchange, my heart started to ache. I'm sure that's because I lied. Although he's not a kid from my school, I managed to make a single friend. I was in the living room, doing a rehearsal with my violin alone. My performance is soon, and I was wearing the dress that my mom sewed for me. It was black and smooth, and I looked like an older sister. It was my favorite. When I finished playing a piece, there was a boy I hadn't seen before in the garden, looking straight at me.
あなたは誰？
Who are you?
知らない人、お家に入れちゃいけないって言われてるの。
I was told that I shouldn't let any strangers into the house. I was a little frightened then, but I managed to gather some courage and said that.
ここはどこ？
What is this place?
私のお家。
You're in my home.
君は誰？
Who are you?
ことみ。ひらがな3つで、ことみ。
Three syllables. Kotomi.
呼ぶときは、ことみちゃん。
Call me Kotomi-chan.
それ、何？
What is that?
バイオリン。
A violin?
変な音。
It sounds weird.
私はまだ、うまく弾けないの。
I still can't play it very well.
でも、先生がお弾きになると、 とってもとってもいい音。
But if a master plays it, it has a very, very nice sound. The boy smiled. I also smiled a little. I thought he was a bit different from the bullies in my school.
あれあれ、ことみちゃんは誰とお話ししてるのかな？
What's this? I wonder who Kotomi-chan is talking to. My mom, who was holding a basket of laundry, saw the boy. But I am all out of time for this episode, guys. I'm so sorry to leave it here when it's getting really, really fucking emotional. But I hope that you liked it anyways, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. So, bye-bye!